Well, hello everybody. I hope you're having a great day. I was going to read you another Papa story. You may notice I'm not in my normal place. I'm up at the Gale's house because they had a new baby. So all of you have a new cousin, and her name is Eva Gale. And she's a beautiful little girl, and so we're excited for that. So anyway, we're at the Gale's house, and I thought I'd read one of the stories they like to read. And there's a whole series of books, Mr. Putter and Tabby, and they do different things. And this is called They Fly the Plane. Uh-oh.
Hello.
That's Parker. How you doing, buddy? Huh? What's the matter?
Hi, Lily. Hi, Levi. Hi, Isaac, if you're watching. Hi, Elise. Hi, Laura.
Do you remember Caleb?
Hi, Caleb.
And Janae?
Hi, Janae.
Yeah, we're having quiet time right now, and so everybody's sort of down. But Parker heard me, and he came over to do a quick say hello. So anyway, this is the book. And they've got a whole series. They must have like 10 different books. And this is Mr. Putter and Tabby, and they do different things. And so Mr. Tabby is an old grandfather, and Tabby is the kitty cat. And they're in all the stories. And this is the one where they learn to fly a plane. And so that's sort of fun. Yeah, isn't that fun? Yeah. Oh, show them what shirt you're wearing. See? We're all wearing, we got a whole bunch of us wearing the Family Blast shirts today.
Oh, that might do it.
Look at that. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's great. So anyway, let's get started with our story.
My quiet time is just about to finish.
Okay, well I'll get done here pretty quick.
Oh,
well,
it just finished.
Oh, there he goes. So anyway, Mr. Putter loved toys. He was old and he knew that he was supposed to love toys. Not anymore, but he did. He was old, but he loved toys. When Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby drove into town, they always stopped at the toy store. And there they are, looking at the toy store. They're looking in through the window and trying to see all the fun things that are in the toy store. Have you ever gone to a toy store? They're so much fun. Tabby was not happy at the toy store. She was old too, and her nerves weren't as good as they used to be. All the different toys that wind up and go pop scared Tabby. And so Tabby went because she loved Mr. Putter. But she was always nervous when she'd go. And so Tabby loved Mr. Putter, but she was really struggling to be at the stores because so many things happened that popped and did different things that they sort of scared Tabby the cat. But then Mr. Putter, he was so happy. You can see Tabby on his shoulders. She's really nervous. But he found all kinds of things to play with. There were dinosaurs, there were fire engines, there were cars you can see. He was having a lot of fun, and even though he was old, he was feeling young again. He played with dump trucks. Look at that. Look at the crane and the hook. And Tabby was curious about the hook and started hitting it. And then, most of all, Mr. Putter loved airplanes. And they had airplanes he could throw and they'd fly. Do you remember at the blast, we threw and made all those paper airplanes and how far some of them went? Well, he had Tabby on his shoulder and he was throwing some airplanes that were all made to do tricks and things. And so he was having a great time. He said ever since he was a boy, he loved planes. when he was young, he had his whole room covered with airplanes. So that's when he was remembering being young. And look at all the pictures of airplanes and the airplanes hanging in his room and more pictures and more things hanging. He really liked airplanes. He thought maybe he might be able to fly an airplane one day when he was a kid, but it never happened. So now he just looked at toy planes every chance he got. Look at him seeing the different airplanes. And look at Tabby, his wonderful cat. They really love each other, and she's being a trooper to go to the store with him. And he's really enjoying seeing some of the airplanes. But one day, when Mr. Putter and Tabby were in the toy store, and Tabby was hissing at some of the wind-up toys, Mr. Putter spotted a plane he had never seen before. It was a red and white biplane. That means it's got two wings, one on top of the other. Those are very old-fashioned, but they used to fly pretty well. They weren't real fast, but they were fun. And look, it had a remote control, so you could actually fly it and be like you're in your own plane. When he was a kid, he never had a chance to get something like that. And so look at him. He is really thinking about it and remembering how much fun he would have had when he was a kid. Well, guess what? He was in love, and he decided he wanted to buy it and take it home, and that's what he did. So he is driving home, and there's Tabby getting very nervous, and in the back seat, there's the airplane in a box. And they're getting pretty excited because he is very excited for when he gets home. Mr. Putter kept his promise. He gave Tabby some warm milk and an English muffin, and together they went outside to try to fly the new plane. Tabby had been nervous, and so he'd promised her that he'd give her something nice that she liked, and that was the warm milk and the muffin. But after that, they wanted to go outside, and he's taking his new airplane he just fell in love with. Tabby was a little bit nervous, but only because she wasn't sure what was going to happen. Still, it was Mr. Putter's plane, and he was so excited. He took everything out on the yard, he took it apart, and he read all the directions. Look at all those directions to tell him how to use the airplane. My gosh. Finally, he got everything ready to fly. Look at Tabby. She's in the airplane box. She's a little bit nervous. I don't think she knows what's going to happen. She loves Mr. Putter, but doesn't really love his hobby. And so she's a little bit scared of this airplane. And it's probably going to be a little bit loud when he fires it up. Then he put the plane all ready on the grass, and he stepped back and he pressed the start button. But the plane did not start. It just rolled over and died. So he got all ready to run and play with it, but it wouldn't really work, and it flipped over on the grass when he tried to get it to go right. He was a little bit sad about that. Tabby was just purring because she was thinking maybe the plane's not going to really work and I won't have to worry about it. So Mr. Putter started retrying how to make the plane work, and he put it back together. It had broken just a little bit. He put it back together. He reread the directions. He thought he had it all figured out, and it crashed again. It wouldn't get off the grass. And there's Tabby. Tabby was like, okay, I'm fine with that. Mr. Putter ran to the plane. He brushed off the dirt off the nose, and he told it to be a brave little plane. He stepped back and pressed the start button, but the plane did not start. One of its wings fell off and it died. Oh, he just cannot get this airplane to work. Every time he tries to get it to work, it falls apart, and you can see part of the wing is laying on the grass. It's getting dirty. It's getting flipping over. And Mr. Putter is getting a little bit sad. But poor Mr. Putter, he picked up the little biplane. He told the plane that it was all his fault. He told it that he was an old man. An old man shouldn't have toys anyway. He said he wasn't any good at flying planes. Tabby watched Mr. Putter. She could see he was sad, and she felt sad too. So there he is, talking to the plane, making sure the plane didn't feel sad and it wasn't the plane's fault. And there is Tabby, just being nice and wanting Mr. Putter to be happy. And so what are they going to do? This airplane just won't fly. Tabby went to Mr. Putter. She rubbed herself against his legs. Have you ever seen a cat do that? They want you to feel good, so they rub up next to you, and they sometimes start purring, and you can hear them purr. She sat on his shoulder, put her head by his, and licked his nose, and that made Mr. Putter feel better. Look at that. The cat is just being so nice to Mr. Putter, because Tabby knows Mr. Putter is a little bit sad. He's doing something he always wanted to do, and that's fly an airplane, but it's not working out. So what's going to happen? We have Mr. Putter trying to do something he always wanted to do, and it's just not working out. And his cat is trying to be really nice to him. Well, Mr. Putter decided he was going to try one more time. He fixed the wing. He set the little plane on the grass. He told it that he and Tabby knew it was the best plane in the world. Then he pressed the start button. So there he is with Tabby on his shoulders, talking to the plane, telling the plane that it's not the plane's fault and that it is really the best plane out there. The little plane started to come to life. It coughed and it choked and it gagged, but it didn't stop working. It warmed up and it began to sound better. There it is. It's starting to run. And it's a little bit beat up because it kept falling over and falling in the grass and breaking and getting put back together 3 times. And then finally, it took off. Look at it. It went, and it went like flying fast. And it was taking off. And it flew high up into the air. And Mr. Putter was trying to control it, and he was doing a pretty good job. And there's Tabby on his shoulder watching this. And she's purring because she's so happy that Mr. Putter is having a good experience, and now his plane is working like it should have. Mr. Putter finally figured out how to get it to work. And the plane is just going so fast and really doing a good job up in the air. Oh my. Every day for many weeks, Mr. Putter and Tabby flew the little plane. And guess what? Kids from all over the neighborhood came to watch Mr. Putter fly the airplane with his remote control. Look at him looking up in the sky. Even dogs. Look at the kids. Look at everybody is so excited because that airplane is up in the sky doing flips and rolls and spins and having such a good time. But look at all the kids. They are super excited. Would you be excited too if somebody was in your neighborhood flying a plane up in the air? Well, Mr. Putter loved this. He loved the company. He loved the children. And guess what? He even let the kids take turns flying his plane. Look at that. kids got to play with and fly the plane with Mr. Putter and Tabby telling them how to do it. Look at, there he is flying, and there's another boy flying the airplane. Would you want to be able to fly the airplane if you went out and watched him and then somebody handed you the controls? Wow. One boy he liked best of all. The boy was a little shy, a little clumsy, a little forgetful, but that was just the way Mr. Putter was when he was a boy. He wasn't, he was just so excited to see this boy. And so what happened is he let this boy, who was pretty shy and not sure, try to fly the airplane. Mr. Putter was like, well, that's sort of a boy that I was like when I was that age. But the boy, once he got flying the airplane, he was strong and sure, and he was happy. And this boy was doing a great job, and he was really loving it. When Mr. Putter saw this, he remembered himself as a boy. He remembered how he wanted a plane that really flew. He remembered lying awake every night wishing for one. Look at, that's Mr. Putter when he was a little boy, and he was thinking, oh, someday I'd love to have an airplane and be able to fly the airplane. Now Mr. Putter had his own plane, but he was old. He didn't need it as much. He had Tabby, and she was everything he needed. So there he is, holding Tabby, who is such a good friend to him. And there's the airplane. And he's starting to think about what he should do with the airplane. So one day, he gave his little plane to the shy, clumsy, forgetful boy. And that boy became a hero with all the other boys, because Mr. Putter gave him the airplane, and this boy learned how to fly it super good. And all the other kids were like amazed at how good he was. And this little boy who was shy started to have so many friends because everybody loved being around him and watching him fly. Even the doggy and the girl and the boys. There's Mr. Putter and Tabby watching him and feeling good because this shy boy now became very popular. Everybody liked being around him and wanted to be his friend. Isn't that so nice? And Mr. Putter and Tabby went back to their milk and muffins and being in the garden with their tulips and their roses. Look at Tabby on his shoulder while he's working in the garden, and they're having their milk and their muffins. And they had morning naps, and sometimes they would go out on a walk together. So they had their naps together, and they'd even go out and go on a walk together. Oh, let's see. Oh, and when they were out on their walks, sometimes they'd see his biplane up in the air, and they knew the boy that was flying it, and it brought them so much happiness. And that's the airplane that's being flown. So that's the story about Mr. Putter and Tabby, and they fly a plane. I hope you enjoyed the story. It's about a story of somebody who was really nice. Mr. Putter always, even when he was a kid, wanted an airplane, and he finally got one when he was an older man. He figured out how to fly it, and he gave the kids so much fun as they got a chance to fly it. But he found one kid who was very shy, and it reminded Mr. Putter of himself when he was a kid. And that kid, once he started flying the plane, he really was good at it. And eventually Mr. Putter gave him the airplane. And that just helped the boy feel so good. And he had a plane he could actually fly whenever he wanted, and he got so good at it. And all of the kids in the neighborhood loved being around that special boy and became his friends. And that just made everybody feel really good. And even when Mr. Putter was out walking, he could see that airplane, and he knew that that boy was having a great time. So this is a story about a good man who found a way to help a boy feel really good and still do the things he loved. So I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a good story. And I hope you're having a great day. Please know that I love you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And we had so much fun at the blast. And we're so glad that Eva is now part of our family and is one more of your cousins. And Parker and Gemma and Lucy are so excited to have a new little sister in their family. And so far, Eva has done really good. She's eating good, and she's healthy, and she's sleeping some, and so things are going well, and Marla's doing real well. So I hope you guys have a great day, and remember, I love you. I love you so much. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.